The great thing about social media is that you're able to build that relationship and stay top of mind. You need to find leads. So you need to have good content, sell and get more customers so you can have better sales in the DMs. All right, so just a little bit of introduction about Tonomo. Most of you guys probably know of Tonomo as a software company, that we have software to help you scale your business. But that's not really what we're gonna be talking about today. So today we're actually gonna be talking about selling through social media. Some interesting part about Tonomo is that right now we have a size of about 15 employees, and half of our team is actually on the marketing side. So half of our team is actually helping photographers sell and get more customers through Instagram. And so that's what we're gonna be talking about today. So just a look at some of the numbers. So each month right now, we have a team of about 8 people working full-time on this. And each month, they're putting 4,000 agents through a social sales pipeline. They're making 10,000 comments every single month, 18,000 likes, 400 story reactions, and all of this engagement translates into about 800 conversations that our team is having with agents. And this translates to about $15,000 to $20,000 in new business, so first-time customer orders through Instagram. And this is also how we built Tonomo. So we've been learning a lot about this process, and we've been helping photographers implement this to help them have like a turnkey way to grow their business. So today I'm gonna break down why we chose social media, some of the frameworks and principles behind how you can apply this in your business, and then we're gonna also look at some of the actual conversations, and we're gonna break down some tactical advice about how you can implement these today, some of the questions that you can ask, so you can have better sales in the DMs. All right, so the first part of this is why social media? So I'm not sure how many of you guys have seen this breakdown of the market, but this is generally true, which is that in any market, there's about 3% of active buyers that are out there looking to buy whatever it is that you're selling. So the problem with this is that, why do most sales for real estate fail? It really comes down to timing. You're not getting the agent at the right time. And with this, a lot of the things that people do is just kind of like a one and done. Like if you do a cold call, you call them once, they're not in the market, they'll say, hey, thanks for the call, we'll keep you in mind for your next listing, and then you really never hear from them again, right? So the great thing about social media is that you're able to build that relationship and stay top of mind so that when they are ready to buy, they'll think about you. Now the other reason is because if you're looking across all the online marketing channels that you have, like paid ads, SEO, a lot of these things are dead. The rates to buy ads keeps increasing. The profitability of those things keep decreasing. And it's just really, really flooded. So, and the last thing is word of mouth. Word of mouth works a lot for most people's businesses, but it's really tough to supercharge word of mouth and have that grow for you. So, just curious, I know that Tony and Chitty are doing social media. Just a raise of hands, how many other people are using social media right now to get customers? Nice, okay, so like a good half of you guys, awesome. All right, so I'm gonna skip through a couple of these slides because you guys probably already know some of this, but these are some numbers that we've seen from ourselves, which is that even with something like email, if you're doing cold outreach, a great response rate is around 3%. And so you're gonna need to be sending out thousands of those messages in order to get customers. Versus social media, a great response rate on social media is about 15% to 25%. So the worst messages that you can send on social media already beats the best messages that you can get from email. Okay, and the last reason why social media is effective, you guys all know this, is that it's a warm network. So on the left-hand side, you have cold calls where people, I don't know you from a bar of soap. You have to work for it. And then on the right-hand side, you have the referrals, which is really hot. But social media is kind of this middle ground where you're able to have mass communication with a lot of different people But it kind of works like LinkedIn, because when people go onto your page, they can see the amount of followers you have, they can see the other people that are following you, and if they have colleagues that follow you, that immediately builds trust and makes these conversations a lot easier to have. All right, so that's just a quick reason about why social media works. So now we're gonna kind of dive into the principles of how we are able to create results really, really fast on social media. And the first framework to think about is thinking in funnels. So if you think about a funnel, what you have is you need to have these different stages that you're moving people through, and you need a good and quick and easy way to drive a lot of leads, a lot of traffic through that funnel. So in order to do this, what you need to do first is you need to find leads. So a great way to find leads is to go on realtor.com, use VAs, create a big list of agents. And another way to do this is just going on social media, go to your competitors' pages, find all the agents that are following them, find some of your best customers, find the agents that are following them. That's a great way to build a list of warm leads, because then you can go into the DMs and say, hey, I already work with this agent, and you can begin a conversation that way. Now, once you're able to drive a lot of traffic, once you have a big leads list, the second thing you need to do is you need to engage with that list of people to get those people onto your Instagram page. And then from there, you need to have good content, and Patrick's already talked about this a lot. You guys already know what a good content mix looks like. And you need to have that good content mix to get people to trust in your brand. And then the last thing that you'll need to do is close them in the DMs. So what that kind of looks like is this slide right here. So you want to create a list of leads. You want to have different things that you're doing, like commenting, engaging, liking, following. And when you do that over time, you just keep popping up on their Instagram page, right? And that builds familiarity with your brand. You get those people onto your page. You have a page of all this different type of content that gets them to understand why you're different. And then lastly, what you gotta do is close them in the DMs. And that is actually going to be the main topic for today's discussion, is how you go about closing people in the DMs, how you have those conversations. So before we jump into the tactical part of things, it's really important to know your numbers and to think about a funnel. So if you have a funnel and you're trying, and these are real numbers, by the way. So if you're trying to get 4 new customers every single month from Instagram, at $250 a shoot, 50% of these usually convert to recurring customers. If you're trying to get these types of numbers, what you need to do is roughly have 11 sales opportunities. You'll convert about 40% of those if you have a good sales process. And this is also why it's important to benchmark these numbers, because if you're low, if you're on the low end, then okay, you have a sales problem. You need to work on your sales skills, right? So in order to get these 11 sales opportunities, it takes about 300 conversations that you're having with agents. And what that means is you need to be doing about 1,000 engagements, 1,800 likes, or have 500 leads that you're continuously pushing through that pipeline. So what that means is if you want to consistently get 4 or 5 new customers every single month through Instagram, you need to be engaging with 500 new agents. So it's a huge number of agents in order to make this work. So today we're going to talk about some of the ways to go about doing this. All right, so this is the main part of today's discussion, is sliding into the DMs and how to make this process work really, really well. So I'm going to go through 4 principles to think about. The first one is that you really need to be focused on building many shallow relationships. You can't put too much energy into any one conversation because it just takes up too much time, right? You need to be engaging with 500 agents in a month to consistently get that 4 or 5 new customers. So you need to have a lot of conversations, and you need to keep moving people forward. It also means that you need to be very efficient with that process. So some of the messages that you're going to see is cookie cutter, because that's what works, and that's what you need in order to make these numbers work for you. The second main principle to know is that the fortune is in the follow-up. And I'm going to show you some examples of this, where as long as you're following up and following up and following up, sometimes that's all you need to get the sale, is to just continue that follow-up. And another useful mindset with this is that when agents don't respond to you on Instagram, it doesn't mean no. It doesn't mean they're not interested. A lot of the times, they're just busy. You know, they're at a showing, they see your message, and they just don't have time to respond to it. You guys probably have this happen to you all the time. There's people that are trying to sell you something, you might be interested, but you just forget to follow up with them. You forget to respond. So unless they say no, unless they say, hey, stop contacting me, it's not a no, it's just they're busy. The third principle here is be consultative. And what we mean by this, and this is also how you don't come off as pushy, is you don't recommend a solution until you've talked to them and established the problem. So when we say be consultative, we mean don't provide unsolicited advice and establish a problem before you recommend a solution. And if you can follow this advice and you can consistently follow up, you're gonna get a lot of people that's gonna say, hey, I really respect the follow-up, and because you're following up with us, it seems you're professional, it seems you're hungry, we're gonna work with you. And that happens a lot in these conversations. Okay, and the fourth useful mindset to have about this, and this is the golden response for almost every message that you have in order to build rapport and to move that conversation going, is that you want to acknowledge and encourage whatever response they give you. You want to make them feel good. You want to make people feel that they're listened to and that you understand where they're coming from. And then from there, you can then transition and move that conversation forward to the next step in the sales process. Okay, so what does that sales process look like? We teach our team the 5 steps to have a great conversation in the DMs. The first step is to have an icebreaker. There's a lot of ways to do this, and I'm going to show you some examples of that. The second part is to build rapport and warm up that lead, to get that conversation going and to get them to see that you're a real person. So what are some great ways to build rapport? One of them is to establish common ground. So look through their Instagram. You know, of course, you can't spend that much time, but just look through some of that. Hey, oh, you're from here? I'm also from here. Oh, you like this? I also like this. Oh, yeah, I also go skiing, right? So great way is to build common ground. The second thing is that people buy from people they like, know, and trust. So a great way to warm up leads is to get personal, right? And to show them that you're a real person. And we're going to show you some examples of that as well. So after you build rapport, the next stage is discovery, and this is the most important stage of the sales process. This is where you need to figure out what their problems are, uncover their problems, and you have to do this in a good way. You can't just ask them, hey, what problems are you experiencing? Everyone's like, I'm not experiencing any problems, right? But if you ask them, what are your goals for this next year? Oh, you know, I'm doing $1 million, I'm trying to get to $2 million. Oh, how's that going? Oh, usually it's not going well, you know, spoiler alert. And so when that happens, then you can get into a conversation. Oh, why isn't it going well? What have you tried? What's working? What's not working? And from that, you know, then you'll get into the part where they say, yeah, actually, I might need some help with this. And at that point, once you've established the problem, that's when you can start recommending your solutions. And so once you have those problems, the next stage is to educate and discuss those solutions. And then finally, you close them and get them on a call where you really have the actual sales process happen again. All right, so a lot of things that we just covered. Now we're going to show some actual examples to ground all these principles in examples, right? Okay, so conversation number 1. All right, so this is actually a follow-up to a previous conversation where nothing really happened from it. And so the first re-engagement message that we sent was, hey, Avian, any exciting news since we last spoke? And he says, I got 2 homes under contract last week, trying to get a few more under contract this week. And then we said, congratulations on that, looks great, you're killing it. And then we just keep going here, right? Like we just ask them, okay, tell us more. Anything from social media? And he says, I usually don't post them until they sell, but I'm starting to do this. And then we start sending some examples of, hey, well, what about this or that? What is it, And then he says, this looks really good. That would be cool. And then we said, I'm glad that you like the idea. I just did these recently with my clients, and they have been having great success with this. So we started off re-engaging. We asked some more questions. We sent some examples. We showed some solutions. And then finally, we got them to book a call. So this is just an example of just re-engaging, keeping that conversation going. Yeah, Tony?
Is this from Tonomo that you're messaging to?
No. So we're doing these from photographers' Instagram accounts.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, this is just an example of follow-up and good conversation. But you don't even need to do this to get a lot of sales to happen. I'm going to show you another example here, where sometimes the sale is literally just in the follow-up. So here's this full conversation with Victor here. We said, hey, Victor, how are you? Been a long time? He says, hi, how are you? And we say, I'm good. Thanks for asking. How about you? This is April 6th, right? We don't hear back from him. We just put him back into the funnel and re-engage later. So in June, we said, hey, Victor, congratulations on the listing, latest addition to your listings. No response. 3 days later, hey, Victor, was wondering, have you thought about getting in front of the camera? Hello. Okay, super non-committal message. And then we sent another message, hey, how's it going? And then we sent another message, hey, Victor, I hope you're doing well. I just wanted to follow up. Right? Like there's not even a conversation going. We're just following up. That's all we're doing. Nice. Hi, how are you? And then we say, hey, Victor, I'm good. Hey, how are you? And then he says, I'm good, preparing for my new listing. Are you doing photography on houses? Okay, this is just like right timing. It wasn't ready. And then we say, hey, how are you? And he's like, hey, can you meet? And we say, yeah, we can meet around noon. Perfect, let's do it. And then we book this guy. That's it. It's just follow up, right? All right, so another example. So this is an example of why Instagram is so powerful, because you have these warm networks. So this is a conversation with a real estate agent, and what you'll see is that in the beginning, she's really cold. Like, so hey, she sends us a message and we say, hey, sorry for the late reply. We can make social media reels for property marketing for your personal brand. You can view some of my posts here. No response. Hey, how's it going? No response, but we're putting out content. We have that great content mix. And because of that, eventually she started following us. So then we send another message, and you'll see this is a great icebreaker, is that when people follow you, send them a message. Thanks for the love. Hey, thanks for following us. Appreciate it. So how's business going? Hey, very busy. Okay, very non-committal message. So she's not warm at all. So what do we do here? We ask some questions, but eventually what we do here is that we send them some examples of work that we've done with an agent that she already knows. So this is where it goes back to building great leads lists with agents from this person's list of followers, right? And so we say, hey, have you seen this content? Maybe you could try filming something like this. And she says, I love Gina. That's my girl. Okay, that's when we know we got her. So she says, I've seen this stuff that she's been doing lately, and I saw her interview the other day. I'm definitely open. I would like to highlight some specific areas in Tampa. Okay, now she's super open now. And then we just sent her a selfie. And she's like, this is awesome. I'm totally down for it. And then she books the call. Jacob?
I think a key thing to take away here is when you gather your lead list, you can think of it as creating a spider web, network. So if you already have some agents that you're working with, tap into their follower list, find the people that are already following them. So when you're then jumping into these conversations and sending them examples of your work, they're like, oh, I've seen that. I want to do that too. Instead of going out and creating a blank one, then trying to actually from the get-go create a warm one, because it's just setting you up for success down the road.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and so, with this conversation, one of the things to really emphasize here is that you can actually sell, you can actually warm people up, you can actually do that all in the DMs, and that's a really powerful concept, because it means that You can use VAs for this. You can scale this. You can do this from your bed. You don't even need to leave your bedroom in order to scale your sales process and make all of this work. All right. All right, so here's another great example where we're working on building a great relationship by getting personal. So we say, okay, so we have an icebreaker up top here, and this is something that you can do when they have a post or a story. Just react to it in the DMs. Hey, great, looks like a great place, and she says thanks. We say you're very welcome. It's really great to connect with fellow real estate professionals. How's business going? This is our standard opening discovery question. How's business going? And she says not a lot happening right now. I have a few buyers semi-seriously looking, but that is about it. How about you? And then we say, totally get it. I have a bunch of clients who are in the same boat. What marketing have you tried before that made you sell your listing? And then we get personal. We said, I just stepped away from my full-time corporate job to do photography full-time. Thank you for asking. Okay, we're getting personal, like a little bit about us as the photographer. And she says, that's awesome that you're able to go full-time. Most of my listings, the biggest thing was being appropriately priced. Make sure the house was decluttered and show how well and then good the photos is. Big marketing blast, hit the market. Okay, and then we said, thank you, really big step for me and my wife. Yeah, I have heard from a lot of agents that pricing is really important. Curious, what's the big marketing blast? Again, this is just, more discovery, trying to get them to open up about themselves. Fun fact, most people like talking about themselves. If you're talking to business owners, they love talking about their business. If you're talking to real estate agents, they love talking about their success, right? Great way to build rapport. Yeah.
The person sending these messages, is this you or a VA?
This is VA, yeah. We train VAs to...
Someone that's Filipino that doesn't know American culture and
Exactly.
ethics and...
Yeah, yeah. Okay, and then we said, curious, what is the big marketing blast here? And then from that, she's sending us this long message, right? When people send you long messages like this, they're super engaged, they're super warm, they love talking about themselves, and then at this point, this is when you can start transitioning into like actually that consultative sales process, discovering the problems, and then trying to get them on a call. So I think this conversation is still happening. And yeah, so this is an example of a conversation that's still happening. We're gonna close Kelsey. All right, so here is another example. This is a standard icebreaker when someone follows up. Hey Jameson, thank you so much for following me, appreciate the love. And then he sends us a message. Again, you'll see that these conversations are warm, and the key reason for this is having that good content mix that gets people to know about who you are, that builds that trust in you. If you only have photos of houses on your Instagram, you're not gonna see this type of results, right? So he says, oh, shit, let's go back.
He says, oh,
All right, yeah, absolutely. Thanks a lot, Matt, for following return. Looks like you have a great portfolio. Thank you for the kind words. Saw your newest post. Congratulations. This is, again, building that rapport. Thanks, bro. Appreciate the support. Was a great one in a lot of ways. No problem. Happy to support you. And then, here's another warm message. I've been helping top agents in your area like Eric Sawyer get in the front of the camera, have success, yada, yada, yada. Would you be interested in this? Sorry, I meant to get back to you yesterday. I actually have someone that I've been working with, so this person already has a photographer that he's working with. Bad timing, right? Just bad timing. He already has someone. But we just continue following up. We said, no worries, totally understand that. Well, I love to be your go-to for your Washington properties. If you're open to that, if you want to hop on a call, just let me know. And he says, okay, sounds great. Don't have anything pressing at the moment, but have 3 listings working on getting ready over the next 2 months. Okay, we just say, great, looking forward to working with you. I'm just a schedule away. And then, hey, that was April, right? More follow-up in June. Saw some of your recent work. That looks great. And boom. Hey, Matt, thanks for the kind words, and absolutely, was definitely inspiring, encouraging. It was a difficult market sometimes, and then, okay, just some more conversation, just, keeping that going. Having these conversations over time is really powerful because of a psychological concept called mere exposure. What that means is they don't need to know anything about you, but if you have neighbors you don't talk to at all, just by seeing their face over time, repeatedly, builds familiarity and trust. You don't even need to be saying anything. Just popping up on their mind is going to get people to trust you. Okay, so we're having these conversations.
I think another thing with it, keep following up and keep the conversations going is that he's working with a photographer, right? But if like Matt in this case, is constantly putting out videos of examples of different things he's doing, he's showing behind the scenes, he's getting in front of the camera, creating talking head with agents and stuff like that. Suddenly, when you're staying top of mind, when that guy keeps seeing this stuff, maybe he'll be like, hey, I want to create a video like that as well, right? So you're staying top of mind, makes him see your stuff over the long run, and hopefully down the road, he's going to be like, hey, I want to as well.
Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly what happens in this conversation. So again, just asking him, hey, do you need a photographer? And he's like, no, not at this moment. Hey, we're just a call away. And then eventually, he reaches out 4 months later, and he's like, hey, Matt, wanted to reach out because even though I've had a consistent photography relationship, I appreciate your professionalism, how you've respected that with our communications. And then he basically says, hey, to be honest, I haven't been too happy with my current photographer, and I want to give you a shot and work with you because you seem professional, because you're following up, because you're posting this content, because, we've been having some conversations, and you seem like someone that I want to work with. This big, long message, and, he books a call, and they do a shoot together. So hopefully from all these conversations, you guys are seeing the importance of just following up and just staying top of mind in those DMs. That's 50% of what it takes to get this going. All right, so some more examples here. The realtor posted a story. We replied to their story. Huge congratulations. She says, thank you. And then we said, you got it. By the way, how are you? How's business going so far? Again, standard discovery opener here. She says, good, how about yourself? We ask some more questions, get to know her a little bit better. She's been in the industry for 2.5 years. We say that's impressive. She says, I found a lot of success with property management. Okay, and we said, oh, great advantage. It sounds like you've got a successful niche. This is October, and then we just following up again. Hope you're doing well. Love the properties on your feet. Just wondering, are you currently working with any photographers on building your personal brand and promoting your listings? And she says, I do not work with anyone specifically. I do have a preference based on previous experience. However, I'm always open to connections and trial runs. We say, hey, great. We've helped do a lot of this stuff. You want to do a call? Yeah, cool. And this conversation went really well. She's really warm. This worked really well. This is not actually on Aerial Canvas's Instagram page. So, Aerial Canvas has a great brand, and the better that brand, the warmer these conversations are going to be. So the importance of having that great content mix. Okay, here's another one. Hey, Eileen, thank you so much for following. Appreciate the love. It's really great to connect with other real estate professionals. And she basically just says, may I get some pricing? And yeah, we send the pricing over, and this is another sales opportunity that we hand off, right? It's literally just responding to them because they followed us. And this is a booked call right there. Yeah, and that's it. Those are the examples. So hopefully this helps, give you guys some ideas of how you can start implementing this, trying this yourself. This has been a game changer for us. This has been a game changer for our customers. A lot of people are sleeping on all of this. So hope you guys don't sleep on this, try this out, and have a lot of success.